Welcome. Man, I am so glad that March Madness is past us so we can get on with them hardwoods and the hard ball. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. I am here. This is Fifth Base. I am here with the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith, coming to you live and ready.
I'm live and I'm ready. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's a little bit chilly here in South Florida today. I think we got to hit a little cold spell, which I was kind of surprised about it.
What is 75?
No, it's actually in the 60s, so that's kind of chilly for us.
All right. Hey, First Lady, I just have to mention that our condolences for the Haskins family. Just so sad. And we don't, have the details of what happened, and actually, we don't have the quote intimate details. But the bottom line is the young man was hit and is now hit by a vehicle and died. And we wish his family well. And they had his coach, and you could tell that he was visibly shaken.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that ain't a guarantee. You had to be doing something right in life where people care.
Yes.
So
absolutely. Our condolences are definitely out to the Haskins family, and as they continue to investigate, we'll find out what really happened to Dwayne. It's really a sad situation. Living here in South Florida, I mean, I hate to say it, it happens quite frequently here. People get hit on the side of the road, or it's very dangerous here in South Florida when it comes to those type of incidents.
Yeah, take heed because it's not just South Florida. Them highways and byways, are busy. Chicago, Houston, and stuff. Hey, pull over to do not be hopping around that highway. All right. Now, there's that part. And this week we got some music for you to check out or shout out. We are featuring performances from Shea Clouds. That's Shea, S-H-E-A, Shea. I don't want you to think it was S-H-A-Y or S-H-A-I. We got Shea Clouds. We find a shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, what you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as LeBron and the Lakers wish they could fly far, 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 far away from a losing season and dash playoff hopes. A record of 32-49 has them behind the Spurs for the final play-in spot. Is it time for the Lakers to start looking at changing directions from LeBron? Has the window for LeBron and the Lakers to win another championship closed? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, Spitface. What can you say? I mean, really. If people are still debating that LeBron James is the GOAT, like Stephen A. Smith said just recently, it's officially over. He is not the GOAT, and this year really proves it because with 4 future, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 future Hall of Famers, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and Dwight Howard, LeBron couldn't take this team not to the playoffs, but not even to the play-in tournament. Now, play-in tournament. Now, we're talking about whereas the Pelicans, minus Zion Williamson, I think Zion didn't play the entire year. And the Spurs, whose team is so far removed from the Tim Duncan years, both of those teams still are in the play-in tournament. I mean, to me, this is the worst season in LeBron James' illustrious career. The worst season. This is even worse than when he lost the first championship to the Dallas Mavs. That was, everybody was upset about that because he didn't have that killer mentality, whatever. But to me, this is worse than that. So where do the Lakers go from here? It's not time for the Lakers to change directions for LeBron. I say hell to the no. It is not time for the Lakers to change directions for LeBron. LeBron was great this year with his scoring. I mean, he did have some injuries. He is getting older, but at least he was great. I mean, if he had played the last two games, he could have won the scoring title and surpassing his greatness as the oldest player to win the scoring title. MJ did it when he was 35. LeBron is 37. However, he opted not to play the last two games because he had ankle injury. The Lakers need to change directions, like I said, not from LeBron, but from Anthony Davis. They need to trade him and receive respectable young players and draft picks. I mean, let's keep in mind, because his trade value will not be the same when the Lakers traded for him. But there are some teams out there that, will see AD, even if he only plays about 60 games. We know what Charles Barkley calls them, street clothes, because he's always in street clothes, which is so true. And, somebody's going to trade for him, would trade for Anthony Davis. I mean, to take him for 60 games, that's better than what most teams probably have, but it's just not going to work out with the Lakers. And also, the Lakers need to see if they can see who would take Russell Westbrook at this point. He is due a final year, like $40-something million per year, but it is a final year of his contract. And hint, New York Knicks, you should trade Julius Randle for him along with their first number one pick, because I'm sorry, if you're going to get rid of Russell Westbrook, you got to give up a draft pick to get rid of Russell Westbrook. I mean, the Lakers need to get younger, and LeBron needs another. I mean, Anthony Davis was supposed to be the number one guy, and LeBron was supposed to be number two. But he needs a Robin now, because I still believe LeBron is the Batman. He can still be Batman. And if they can pull off the trades for another running partner for LeBron, then the Lakers still have another chance to win a championship. But the window is rapidly closing, Spitface. I'd be really closing fast, but it's not shut closed. If they can get rid of AD and get somebody who can run with LeBron. All right, Spitface, what are you saying about this?
All right, I am looking, and I have to go. The Laker Nation has to say this has been a disaster of a season. And firstly, I do beg to differ that AD is on track to be a Hall of Famer. maybe a Hall of Shamer. Most overpaid in an NBA player by the number of games played. Now he might be in that hall. You got to actually be on the court to get some Hall of Fame time. But you're right in so many ways. But LeBron is not getting better with age. He was just already, at the top of his game. So there's going to be, between injuries that a year ago he could play through, to injuries where, you know what, I got to do more preserving, too much energy, resources going toward, because the goal is to win another championship, not just to have a team that makes it to the play-in. The goal is to have another championship. And right now, it's that. I put it like this: the chances of LeBron and the Lakers winning another championship during the LeBron era is about as big a chance as marvelous Marvin Hagler winning another championship. It's just the competition in the West. The Lakers can compete. They can get there, but it's not going to compete. The teams have moved on and retooled and reloaded, and too steep a hill to climb. So it's like, hey, are you going to sacrifice the future for, chasing out the windmills? That's all I'm saying, personally.
Well, but I mean, LeBron
is Hall of Fame.
Well, I beg the difference. I mean, times he's played, he has been putting up Hall of Fame numbers the time he's played. But the thing is, look, if Chris Bosh got in the Hall of Fame, AD can get in the Hall of Fame. So,
you got a point.
Okay, all right. Now,
but Chris Bosh got a ring.
AD got one ring too. Chris Bosh got.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Chris Bosh has 2 rings. AD has 1 ring. Remember they did win it in the bubble.
Yeah. They got that lucky year. They got that lucky year wing.
That lucky year ring. Okay, all right. But anyway, I still think LeBron has several years in him. Yeah, he's not the same LeBron that he was, but LeBron is still better than other players in the league. So, I mean, you got a good shot of winning with LeBron. So we'll see. I mean, I still think he's going to stay in L.A. I mean, he's on the upcoming season will be his last year under contract. He signed, remember, he signed a 4-year contract. LeBron had not signed a 4-year contract. The last time he did that was when he signed on with the Miami Heat. And he stayed there 4 years, and then he went back to Cleveland. And he only did 1 year, he did 2 years contract with an option for the second year. And he didn't do that with the Lakers. He signed a 4-year contract. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think he's going to do a 4-year contract with the Lakers because if you remember, he wants to play with his son, Bronny James. So I think he's going to leave his options open. But we'll see how it happens. But I know one thing. I was talking to my cousin or somebody. I can't remember who I was talking to about whether or not the Lakers should retire LeBron James jersey. And I was saying to myself, if they haven't retired Michael Cooper's jersey nor Derek Fisher's jersey, there ain't no way that they need to retire LeBron James' jersey. He hasn't been that great of a Laker to have his jersey retired. So anyway, I'm moving on. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Interesting. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, over the power and over the competition, I'm towered. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch to the NFL by the Brian Flores suit. 2 more ex-coaches have joined the suit. Are the floodgates about to open? Will requiring NFL teams to provide minority ownership to minorities make a difference? Has Bruce Arians at Tampa Bay showed the NFL a model for opening the door to minority coaches to get head coaching positions? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and my man James Cool, Papa Bear. Ask him what you saying. You know, Brian Flores, this suit has some teeth in it, and that's a big problem for the NFL because it's one of them things that get quiet and then something bubbles back up to the top. And I think that there's a point where it's like blood in the water and the sharks are coming out. And a lot of these retired coaches, and I can see some active ones saying, you know what, I think I need to get in on this suit. You know, and they're not, and they're in a position where it's, how they like to say, you a disgruntled ex-employee or disgruntled. No, you played, you knew how the game went, and you saw it, and you wanted to keep that opportunity, so you ain't been saying nothing. You know, it's just like abuse in the workplace. You know, there may be multiple people being abused, nobody say nothing because they don't want it to get worse. You know, so I think the NFL got a little problem. I think them gates, they may not be floodgate open yet, but 2-3 here, then a month go by, 2-3 more coaches. Next thing you know, I mean, they got a problem now. Now, yes, the NFL should require that each team provide minority ownership to minorities. Because otherwise, even if you got the money, you got to wait for one of these, let's just say, plantation mentality owners to die before you get a shot, at being able to actually get the team and it's slanted, as they say, what they got one non-white person as an owner. And part of why I say they should do that and make a requirement, remember the NFL has a special exception. They have it. That's right. Check it out. Congress did that. They passed Congress. Well, we don't know what Congress we got now. But back in the day, Congress didn't just grant exceptions. The NFL got an exception so that they could not be sued as a monopoly. The steel companies, they get no exception. Oil and gas, you know how much polluting and money and corruption with oil and gas, they ain't got no exception. But the NFL got one. So I think that should be there. Like, hey, and yes, Bruce Arians and Tampa Bay showed the NFL a model for opening the door to minority coaches. If you mentor your successor, now that means you got to have some, you got to be in a strong position to mentor a successor. Like that means you got a winning record, a winning team, and you know that there's a finite time that you're going to be the head coach. But in those situations, it behooves that level head coach to step out there and groom some replacements, and this isn't to, not say that, okay, hey, well, because there's going to be some, well, I want to groom the white boy. There's going to be some grooming, but, some may have to, just step up and say, look, as a matter of value, what I want to bring, I'm going to give this person of color a strong chance so I can groom based on what they deliver. So, First Lady, what you say?
Well, first of all, I'm glad other coaches have joined Brian Flores' class action lawsuit. I mean, it just, like you said, it just bolstered his claims. I'm like, the more the merrier. And, the two coaches that joined, one was a head coach, that was Steve Wilkes, for Arizona Cardinals, and the other one was Ray Horton, a former defensive coordinator, who was also a candidate for the Tennessee Titans. So the fact that they joined, it makes interesting that, like you said, it's going to be better. And then the thing, too, you'll get to hear the different stories of how these NFL teams circumvented the Rooney Rule. And that's what the whole lawsuit is against. And the Rooney Rule is just a farce. And, recently the committee made changes to the Rooney Rule after this lawsuit. Now they including women as part of the external minority candidate interview pool. You got to interview a woman. So that's part of it. They said you got to eliminate the Zoom interviews, and teams are required to hold in-person interviews with minorities. And the one thing that I found to be really good with the change, that now all teams will be required to employ either a woman or a person of color to serve as an offensive assistant. And basically this means that the coach will receive a one-year contract to work closely with the head coach and the offensive staff to gain experience. So it's like a mentorship type of program they set up. So the question is, though, will all of this have any impact on the ability to get more head coaches head coaches of color into this pool into being head coaches? It may not, but the main thing is, the question was, will requiring NFL teams to provide minority ownership to minorities make a difference? We already have some minority ownership that are black people. Did you know that, Spitface?
But not all the teams.
I know what you're saying. I know you're right.
This is an all affair.
This is all like
how they sprinkle us, a few of us, on vanilla ice cream and say that we done made some changes.
Yeah, but the minority ownership is so minute. It's like, for example, the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus, they have a minority ownership with the Dolphins. Now, I couldn't confirm if it was each of them had 0.5% stake or both of them together had 0.5%. But they said Serena had a 0.5% stake. But I know Venus also has a stake, so it was very hard for to determine.
First Lady, when I was at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana taking my business classes, my minority ownership was called 30%. Zero. Not in the NFL. And votes on the board.
And votes on the board, not in the NFL, because that's when they got point. They only got a full percent. 1% is 0.5%. But anyway,
First Lady, the Chicago Bears, the Hallis family owns the Chicago Bears.
Right.
But they have a minority ownership.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
They have a minority ownership. Oh, not by a minority. I say that part. But they got a minority ownership that's about to buy the team. Now that's when you got a minority ownership where there's even a possibility you can flip the script and own the team. So.
Okay, yeah, okay. No, that's great. See, I didn't realize the Bears are up for to be sold. I know that there was question regarding the Denver Broncos are currently possibility up for sale, and one of he's a billionaire, Robert F. Smith. He's a black man, and he could be bidding on the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
Again, so there are some people out there that can afford to own and be a majority owner in the NFL. But as you always say, Spitface, the other owners have to allow them to be in. And who makes all these decisions? It's the owners. So are Goodell can't do it. He can't police them to tell them that you got to let a majority black owner in. is they got to police themselves, and that's the problem.
First, remember I said that little thing about Congress granted them an exception?
Yeah, granted the exception.
Which means that ultimately Congress can say, you want to keep this exception, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're going to do it from the legislative point of view, and we know how that goes. But anyway, so right now that's a
better chance that a rich white guy who wants to keep the money.
Yeah, but I mean, they've allowed. I mean, to be honest with you, I always felt rich people didn't care if you black or white. All I thought they cared about was green, to be honest with you. That's all they cared about, because they have allowed minority owners to come into the NFL, because we all know Shaq Khan is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Kim Pegula, I can't pronounce her name, she's co-owner because she's married to a white man who owns part of the Buffalo Bills, so she is a co-owner of the Buffalo Bills. But like I said, I mean, if you're saying that the Howes family may be selling to a minority owner, that's all fine and dandy. But like I said,
the minority owner that is not a minority. He's just rich.
Oh.
But they made a minority. He became a minority owner, like he got 30% of the team.
But so you're saying is he black?
No, he's not a minority.
He's not a minority. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
There are plenty of teams that have minority ownership.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not they ain't this, well, you're going to get 0.5%. That you can't vote.
No, I understand what you're saying. No, but, you're right. In most leagues, minority owners have been able to purchase the team. They've gotten more stakes. I mean, if you remember, in the Brooklyn Nets, Ty, he's from China. He was a minority owner when I can't remember the name of the guy who owned the team. He was a Russian owner.
I gotta say the Rusky.
The Russian owner, and he, the current owner of the Brooklyn Nets, he was a minority owner, and he increased his bid to buy the Nets. So yes, that stake, that process definitely does work. I will agree with you on that point. That is a possibility. But you just, it's like you said, going through Congress might have to do it, but it shouldn't come to that, because, like I said, if people got money, it'll be interesting, because we'll see if the Denver Broncos are up for sale. Robert F. Smith lives in Denver, is right down his wheelhouse, and he has the money, and he's a billionaire. But the only problem is he is African American, and we'll see, because there should be no. Like I said, there should be no problem for him, because money is not the problem. Okay, money is not the problem. But I just and let me say this too, Spitface. Just because a black man is hired as an owner doesn't mean it's going to open the floodgates for African Americans in positions. Because let me just say that I look at the Charlotte Hornets. Don't we got a black owner there in Michael Jordan in the NBA? But guess what? Does he have a black head coach? No. Does he have a black GM? No. So I'm just going to say all folks ain't kin folks, okay? That don't mean anything. Don't mean just because you're going to have a black man in charge. Just because you're going to have a black man in charge doesn't mean that a black man is going to hire so many different people. Because let me just say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. If you remember, President Obama was in charge. Did he put a black woman as a Supreme Court justice? No.
Hey, okay. but he put a Hispanic. My man was trying to watch out for the whole piece.
I don't care. He did not put a black person.
He only had one.
He had two. He put two people. He did a black, he did a Hispanic, and he did an LGBTQ whatever person. He did do that. He put two women One of them should have been a black woman. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to say it again.
Hey,
All folks ain't kin folks. All right, let's move along. In regards to Bruce Arians, I mean, he should be commended for his dedication to making sure minority coaches are given a fair chance. I mean, he's hired black coordinators. How can we forget? Todd Bowles has been with him for years and years. He hired Brian Leftwich. You know, I mean, how many teams had a black offensive coordinator and a black defensive coordinator the same time on a team? Nah, I can't remember anyone in history has that. So Bruce Arians has definitely done what needed to be done to try to get more representation from African Americans. I mean, it's admirable of him to step down, knowing that Todd Bowles will have a team that can compete for a championship. Because, like you said, a lot of times, Spitface, a lot of these coaches are put into situations where they won't even have a chance to win. They are given bad opportunities just to get a position, you know. So Bruce Arians was way before his time, you know, and we need more people like Bruce Arians in order to really level this playing field out. So kudos to Bruce Arians. That's all I got to say. All folks ain't kin folks.
Hey, better than having Gruden. Lady, please take us to break.
Oh, my gosh, you brought a name up in the past. I wonder what he's doing these days. Okay.
No, you don't.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Shea Clouds. That's S-H-E-A Clouds on Shout Out Part 1.
Music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Shea Clouds.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring Shea Clouds out of Santa Clarita, Virginia. They say, I don't know who they are, but they say, quote, delivering tracks as cool as the flip side of the pillow since 2019. Shea Clouds' mellow feel, coupled with an ear for enhancement, allows him to diversify his sound, resulting in an aesthetically pleasing instrumental hip-hop combination. Wow, that's a different combination. Hip hop with instrumental. I got to hear this. All right, DJ, let's hear Icicles. Okay, that was Shea Clouds. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. He need to be up in the clouds because I'm going to hit the mute button on that one, Spitface. First of all, it was an instrumental for sure, but I don't know where the hip-hop came in. I was looking for the hip-hop combination. I didn't hear any hip-hop combination with that song. I mean, that sound like, I don't know if you call a business and you get that type of music that they put on on the phone. That's what that sounded like to me, like a electronic type of song. Oh, no, hitting the mute button. I'm sorry, Shea Clouds. I was really excited about hearing the instrumental hip-hop combination, but I definitely did not get that. Spitface, were you hitting the mute button or are you going to shout it out?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm hitting the mute button mainly because my expectations were not met by any stretch. But, it seemed like he had a little beat, but then that was it. Like you said, it was like that. I had to go with you first, lady. I'm waiting for the person to come on the line and say, customer service, how may I assist you? See, I would have said that it was good on hold music. Now, in the world of on hold music, it was like, all right, it wasn't like wasn't too boring. Wasn't too, it was good on hold music, where you could, okay, I'm doing something else, while I'm waiting for the customer service person to come on and get my bank account or whatever straight. Now, nice little relaxing music. But as far as not mute button.
Yeah, or one of those cell phone sounds. When you put your cell phone ringtone, that's another one that it sounded like. Maybe my man, got a whole new audience, he can consider, nothing goes to waste. Anyway, all right, on part 2 of Shadow, we'll have another performance from Shea Clouds. Hopefully he can redeem himself with us. Oh, my goodness. Is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? I don't even know if Flipper's going to come out after listening to that. It's time for Flippin'.
They call him Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
All right. It is time for Flip It, where our host defend a pointed and flip the script and defend the opposing view. The Chicago Bulls are in the playoffs with a 45-36 record. We ask, are they contenders or pretenders? The Bulls are young and scrappy like last year's Atlanta Hawks team. They are contenders. I'm looking at this young, I really want to call them the baby Bulls. I'm looking at these young baby Bulls, and they've been getting squatted around. They've been, but they've been hanging. They had some tough injuries, came back from that, got a better record than them darn Nets. So I'm on board with him. Shoot, I'm on board. That bad boy, what they do, Rose, something like that. Them boys is, they scrappy, they hungry. They want to show that they ain't no wimps. They got something going on. So I could see them making a little noise in the playoffs. They are contenders. First Lady, defend.
Okay. Well, they have to, they have a go-to guy in DeMar DeRozan. And actually, they also have in Zach LaVine. Now, playoffs is always about matchups. So when you have two elite players like DeRozan and Levine, you got to say this team is a contender. I mean, to have one go-to scorer is a luxury, and a lot of teams do not have. But to have two puts the Bulls in, to me, an excellent position heading into the postseason. Both players can take over a game and be the man when you need a basket, because it's about a lot of one-on-one play in the playoffs. I always tell people there's two seasons, the regular season and the playoff. The playoff is a different animal when it comes to matchups, when it comes to that. That whole offense slows down, becomes a half-court type of game, and that's why you need stars on your team, and the Bulls have two stars. Now, they had some issues during the regular season, but like I said, the playoff is a different situation, and if this team can get Lonzo Ball back, hey, watch out. They are definitely contenders.
All right. We got to flip the script and defend. Good record, but they can't beat the big boys in the big games. They are pretenders. Now, First Lady, as much as I like these baby Bulls, and I like these baby Bulls, but they still little children. Now, they done pulled up their pants every time, but every time they face the big teams, the Bucks, Phoenix, Grizzlies, those top-tier teams, they lose. Now, they go down fighting, but they lose. So they ain't quite got to that level yet. And, and Bulls fans, y'all should, don't be disheartened. Because this year they may be pretending, but they are not the Dallas Cowboys. They building something. And once some of these younger players, get just a little more seasoning, and they having to go up against the Bucks, all these, tough teams, championship, that just get, hey, you know what your competition is, and now you build and you learn in strength. So it's all good for the baby Bulls, but right now, you're kind of pretending. First Lady, defend.
All right. Well, the Bulls definitely were a great feel-good story, bringing respectability back to the Chi-Town after Derrick Rose's departure. But Smith-Face, this team was elite against bad teams, but they, like you said, they couldn't beat the teams over 500. So if you can't beat the teams over 500, you are pretenders, because in the East, all the teams are over 500 in the playoffs. I mean, that's a bottom line. And the fact is that they have a losing record. Matter of fact, I don't even think they won one time against a team under 500. I mean, over 500. And, they're a great offensive team, but their defense was very susceptible against the better teams, especially without Ball. And, for a long time they didn't have Caruso because he had a broken wrist. They're defenders of the perimeter, and the team really was up there in defense. And after those two went out, they slumped to the 20th place with they was giving up 111 points per game. So I mean, this team is about their defense. It's about being able to play against the big boys. I mean, Caruso is back, but he's still getting into the swing. And to this day, I still don't know if Ball is going to be back for the playoff. He might be back, maybe not the first round, but who knows? They need him the first round. So, I mean, what can you say? I mean, they're great offense, but like I said, they can't beat the big boys. So they're definitely pretenders. I mean, it's a good story, but not this year.
Not this year. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
Go, baby Bulls.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
First lady, wait, let me just get through this one. The 6 dumbest things you can say to a police officer. And, okay, top of the list is, not, you know what, I'm not going to start from the top. I'm going to start from the bottom. Number 6, you need to just let me go. You need to just let me go. Officer, you should just pretend you didn't see me. Stop harassing me. Call out a UTL, unable to locate. He needs to go to jail, officer, now. Number 3, you need to get a real job. Woo. Number 2, put your seatbelt on, cop. But the number 1, you need to find some real criminals. Ooh. But I don't know. I think that number 1 is tied with or at least I think the number 3 should move up. You need to get a real job. Yeah,
that to me was the worst. That to me is the worst one.
Woo. All right. There, the water's splashing everywhere. It ain't me, a first lady, saying something dumb to a cop. That's for sure. It must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for flipping.
The Dallas Mavericks are 51-30 and going to the playoffs. We ask, are they contenders or pretenders? Panel defend. 51-30 in the wild, wild west, they are contenders. Defend, Spitface.
The Mavericks got a little something going. They're right now. I think they got the number 4 spot. They have beaten teams with a good record, and with winning records, and they just seem to kind of have their little mojo going. They've been winning. They're competitive, and I don't see any pretending out of them. If the West has been wild and woolly, but they didn't come in. 51-30 speaks to something. They didn't come in. With some barely winning record. That speaks to something, especially when you're looking at Golden State and the Phoenix Suns. You like woo. to be that, to nip it that close. And the only difference between them and Golden State is 1 game. So they are not pretenders. They strong contenders. First, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, they strong contenders. Yeah, I mean, come on now, Luka Doncic. I mean, basically he's carrying the Mavs all by himself. I mean, when you look at that Mavs team, who are you going to? I mean, besides the recent trade, but when you looked at it before, they have a bunch of. I'm not going to say mediocre players, but they have a bunch of role players on their team. Luka Doncic is the only superstar on that team, and they've won 51 games. Matter of fact, they're in 4th place with the possibility of overtaking the Golden State Warriors for 3rd place. So they really have done a great job. And Jason Kidd, I mean, has done an excellent job coaching them. I don't know if you remember, Dallas was, in the beginning of the season, they were up around 500 the whole season. Then for some reason, just before the All-Star break, I mean, they turn on they stepped their game up, and they've become great contenders. And that trade, Spencer Dinwiddie for Porzingis, I mean, that was the very underrated trade doing, everybody talking about James Harden and Ben Simmons, and that was a very underrated trade. And actually, Spencer Dinwiddie has brought in another go-to person for the Mavs. So, I'm very impressed with the Mavs. I mean, I was actually hoping the Mavs wouldn't do well this year because the New York Knicks have their draft pick.
You're like, look, I'm trying to get my boys, a good pick.
It was looking good at the beginning of the season, but then they're going to be they're going to beat out Golden State. Now, Golden State won yesterday. So, today, Sunday is the last day of the season, and all 30 teams are playing. So we will see where they end up as far as their positioning. But I mean, they've done a great job. So they are definitely definitely contenders. And I would be afraid of playing the Mavs, to be honest with you, especially when you got a great player like Luka Doncic. Now, Luka got away with having his technical foul rescinded by the NBA because he would have been suspended for today's game. For Sunday's game, so he's lucky. He need to stay off them refs. I mean, he got a bad mouth when it comes to dealing with the refs. But anyway, other than that, I mean, what can you say about the Mavericks? They're a great team, definitely a contender. All right, but this is Flip It, Panel Defend. The Mavericks have a solid record, but the playoffs will show they are pretenders. Defend, Spitface.
When you the Mavs are like they're like a feel good team. If you have the Mavericks roster for your city, a whole bunch of them would say, "Hey, look, they doing it, they winning, and they don't have that, and Luka is the main man." Now they do have what I think they got Jalen Brunson, and he making a little noise, and a couple of other players, but the deal is Luka. And in the playoffs, they know commit your resources to Luka and make everybody else have to step up. And at that point, they won't be able to win a series. So at this, I go great feel-good team and really tough wild, wild west, but they ain't there yet. They pretenders.
Okay, I know. Well, yeah, a lot of people are happy about the Mavs, but you know what? They're a great regular season team, but when it comes to a playoff, the Mavs become very small. And, with Luka being the main option, it's going to be tough for them to win playoff games because all you need to do is double team and make him give up the ball. And then you have Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, Spencer is a streaky shooter. Sometimes he can be on, sometimes he can be off. Same thing with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is having a great season, but this is a contract year, and, he's another streaky shooter. And Reggie Bullock, he used to be with the Knicks. We all know how streaky he is. So, they don't really have a consistent other scorer that they need in the playoff. As remember I said, when it gets to the playoff, it turns into a half-court type of game. And you need to have people that can put it in the basket and that can do one-on-one scoring. Luka is the only one, really. The other players on the team, they feed off of each other in team basketball. But when it comes to the NBA playoff, sometimes team basketball doesn't work. Team basketball works in the regular season, but you need to have one-on-one players that can get their own shot. And that doesn't happen with the Dallas Mavericks. the only one who can get his own shot maybe be Spencer Dinwiddie. But other than that, I mean, Jalen Rose, but, he's a small guard, too. So it's going to be an issue for the Dallas Mavericks. Again, like I said, they become very small when they get into the playoffs, but they always have a great regular season. But it's about the playoffs, and I'm sorry, their record may be solid, but they are definitely pretenders. All right, Spitface, over to you. Take us to break.
All right. For the great pretenders. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Shea Clouds.
I can't wait.
Out part two. Please stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout-Out Part 2, the picks and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
Well, we have another fine performance from Shea Clouds. DJ, let's hear Water Lily. Let's check out Water Lily. Hit it. Well, that was Water Lily. And First Lady, at least this time, I was not disappointed because my expectations were not high. But I'm going to hit the mute button again. It's really, it seemed like he putting together beats and not really all that, like, unique or, like, stand out. So I'm hitting the mute button. What's the verdict, First Lady?
Well, you know what? I'm going to yo it. I did kind of like that a lot better than the first song, to be honest with you. So it is a beat, but I did like the beat. So, because, you can tell it is a beat because it's very repetitive. There's no difference in the song. You don't hear a different flow or anything like that. But I kind of like that flow of that song. Not enough to get it a shout out, but at least I can give it a yo. So he's improving. I give him a yo.
Well, that is the end of shout out. If you like what you heard from Shea Clouds, check him out on Old Grumpy Radio Network and penark.net. That's penark.net. And do not ask me why the hell this Penark, that's what he got. Now, if you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
Who will win the hardwood crowns? It's time for the hardwood picks. And again, we've been so swamped. I don't even know if I can even blame the production crew, the production assistants. I've had a little issue to myself helping them out with getting these picks together. But we're going to do our very, 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 very best for next week, for the next time to have the picks for you guys. But anyway, let's move on to the new picks this week. The winners and the losers. $4 million for the correct answer, minus $4 million for the wrong answer. And all the games will be on Sunday. And there's a whole bunch of games this Sunday. This last day of the regular season. Okay, moving along. Pacers versus the Nets. All right, Spitface, I'm going to take the Nets because if the Nets win that game, they have a chance to be in 7th place. So all those, like the Heat, all the people who finished number 1, you don't have to deal with the Nets. But it would be nice, though, to see if the Pacers can win. But anyway, we'll get Dizzy Mac's picks later. All right, Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going for the Nets. I think Kyrie is going to explode. Mm-hmm. Because he has those, he has them. I think this is one of them games where he going to, be the man.
Okay. We have the Bucks versus the Cavs. Spitface, who do you have?
I would go with the Bucks, but the Bucks, I'm going with the Cavs.
All right.
I suspect there's going to be some resting of some players.
Yeah, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Bucks still have something to play for because the Bucks and the Sixers are still tied, if I'm not mistaken. They're close.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I'm going to go with the Bucks because they still got to play. Because remember, it's the only one who really had their position all set was the Miami Heat. We knew they were going to be the number 1 team in seeding.
Well, I'm going to reverse my call and go with the Bucks.
Okay.
Since they do have a purpose.
Yes, they have a purpose, and so I will go with. And also Giannis, but I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he has a chance. I think Joel Embiid is going to win the scoring title. All right, let's go. Celtics versus. Actually, it's the Bucks and the Celtics are neck and neck. Celtics versus the Grizzlies. You know what? Them Grizzlies, they continue to win. And now John Morant is back. I am going with the Grizzlies, even though the Celtics really need the game. The Grizzlies don't need the game because they already know that they're the number 2 seed. But they just keep winning. All right, Spitface, who do you have?
I think the Grizzlies they are playing for something called momentum. So I'm going with the Grizzlies.
Okay. All right, Bucks versus the Timberwolves. This is a good game, to be honest with you. And I'm going to, okay, well, you're up first, Spitface.
Yeah, some reason it seems like the Bulls just fall short in big game. I'm going Timberwolves.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Timberwolves because they've been really playing well, very well. Matter of fact, they kind of a scary team to play in I can see them upsetting somebody, but I think they're in the play-in. So they're in the play-in. So I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves. All right, and let's move along. These are over and under Sunday games. $4 million for the correct answer, minus $4 million for the incorrect answer. Pistons versus Sixers. Over under 230 points scored. Wow. Let's see. I'm gonna go with over.
You're gonna go with the over. I'm going with the under.
Okay, you're going with the under. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to go with the over. And let me just make sure I got that. So I got the over, and Spitface got the under. You always pick a lot of unders. I sure like to see how those scores are going to come out. All right, Lakers versus Nuggets. Over under 235 points. Spitface?
No LeBron, under.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the under on this one. And the Nuggets are still playing for something, too. All right, Warriors-Pelicans. Didn't the Warriors-Pelicans play last night or no? Okay. I guess maybe they play back-to-back. One was in no, I'm getting confused. All right, Warriors-Pelicans. I'm going to go over. Spitface, 220 points.
I'm going over.
Okay. Jazz Trailblazers. Spitface. Over 235 points.
Under.
Yeah, I'm going to go under, too. It's going to be definitely. Well, Jazz still needs some help. Hawks versus Rockets. Over under 210 points. I'm going to go with over. Spitface.
I'm going to go with the under.
You go with the under. Under. That's your favorite word, under. All right. Okay. Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
The play-in
tournament. Yeah. My top story to watch this week is more about the death of Dwayne Haskins. There's still a lot of unanswered questions that need to be answered about Dwayne Haskins regarding, like, why was he walking across the major highway? You know, was his car having car problems? You know, so there's still a lot of questions about that story. So I'm definitely going to put that. All right, the Yankees, Rachel Balkovec. She became the first, if you remember, I think we talked about this, she became the first female manager in minor league history. And on March 25th, when she was hired by the Yankees, well, Balkovec, I might be pronouncing her name, I apologize, Rachel Balkovec won her managerial debut with the Tampa Tarpons, a minor league affiliate of the Yankees. And that was just happened on the Friday, the 9th, or the 8th. Friday was the 8th. Well, anyway, it happened on Friday. So in doing so, it was like two things. She became both the first woman to manage a game and win a game with a team affiliated with the Major League Baseball. So kudos to Rachel Balkovec, and kudos to the Yankees. I mean, when you think about the New York Yankees hiring a woman, that's really kudos, because I hate to say it, the Yankees have been they're like one of the very, very strict team, because I don't know if you know this, I think I've talked about this before, their players cannot have facial hair. Yeah, look on the Yankees. Do you ever see anybody with a beard? Remember Donnie Damon when Donnie Damon was playing with the Boston Red Sox, he always wore a beard. When he moved over to the Yankee, he had to shave his beard. So, so we're talking about a very strict team. So kudos to the Yankees for hiring Rachel Balkovec. All right, join us and our partners, the Veterans Women's Enterprise Center, as we honor our veteran women entrepreneurs. Please visit honorourveteranwomen.com. honorourveteranwomen.com. Check out our current and previous episodes at brawspantiesandsports.com, brawspantiesandsports.com, and our Facebook page, B as in boy, P and Sports, BPN Sports. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you in a couple of weeks. First Lady is going on break for a couple of weeks, so we'll see you soon. Have a nice one.